Choose life. Choose a career. Choose never to alter game. Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to discuss, has the kilo made a comeback? One of my subscribers, M Rocky B, was asking the question. He believes that the kilo is back in the mix and is one of the top tier guns. Well, this, my friend, is just for you. So what we're going to do is, without further doubt, I'm going to show you some stuff from True Game Data. I'm checking out all the different loadouts for the best assault rifles, and we're going to put them all together in a one big review bundle, so you guys can see for yourself, has the kilo made a comeback? So without further ado, so we've got the AK-47 with the Cold War gun. These are the best setups that you guys are going to be having and rocking for these guns. C58, the EM2. The C58 is a great gun, quite a high skill level. The EM2 is super high skill level. This is what the pros are using. Don't recommend it for us newbies and noobs out there. The Farah, great gun. The QBZ, that is a great gun that replaced us from the lovely gun that we used to use, which was the Krieg 6 XM4, fantastic gun, the Kilo 141, and the GRA, both of those from Modern Warfare. So without further ado, let's have a quick look at the stats comparison. So fire rate across the board, pretty much the ones that have the slow fire rate, the C58, the EM2, so you've got to make sure that you are hitting those shots to get on target. The highest ones we have here are the Kilo and the Farah. So the Farah definitely stands out as definitely a good gun. The XM4 and the GRA, all pretty much anything over the 700 mark. Even the QBZ is a very good fire rate, so you will be hitting those shots. Even if you get off target, you can get back onto them quickly and make those shots land. Range modifier, not worried about. The ADS, especially when we're using assault rifle, or SMGs are where we want the quickest, snappiest ADS and sprint to fire times and tactical sprint to fire and movement speed. We're not so worried about that. We're going to be using our SMG for those things. So for the vertical recoil, we can see pretty much across the board -20 all the way up to the Kilo and the GRA, which have -43 and 34. And for the horizontal bounce, it's pretty much -23 across the board, and then -32 and 32 for the Kilo and GRA. Shows you that across the board, and what they're generalising doing is making all the guns very similar. So the C58, the EM2, the Farah, and the QBZ, and the AK, all the Cold War guns, pretty much all those attachments affect them all in exactly the same way. The other thing we want to look at is the bullet velocity. So the best bullet velocity are clearly on the GRA and the Kilo, are pretty much just under 1300. So that's fantastic for meaning more of the hit scan. The other ones which are definitely top tier on here out of all of them is pretty much the EM2 at 1192 and the QBZ. So definitely the QBZ is definitely looking like a good gun. Reload time, pretty much anything from 2 seconds up to 3 seconds, which is really slow for the fire, which is pretty much impinging that gun. In terms of mag size, we've got 45, 45, 40, 60, 60, 45, 60, 60. Pretty much we're rocking 45s and 40 small mags for the hard hitting guns like the AK-47, the C58 and the EM2. We're having pretty much the smallest mag size, so it isn't impinging ADS, and the Farah and QBZ we're going for the maximum because of their damage profiles being not as good. And pretty much sprint speed, not worried about, and stray speed. We can see here on the stray speed that the QBZ is 2.89, and then the XM4 is 2.84. So pretty good, and also on the C50 at 2.8. With the EM2 having the worst stray speed out of all of them at just 1 ms. So bearing that in mind, going through them all, it's definitely clear the EM2 looks to be a very good gun in the hands of a pro. C58 pretty much replaced the CR AMAX from Modern Warfare. QBZ replaced the Krieg, so should in theory be the best go-to gun for everyone that's new to the game or just wants something that's really easy to use. XM4 slightly high skill level compared to the QBZ, which has a slight vertical hit. And the Farah pretty easy to use as we know, but a slow reload speed and damage profile not as good as something like the XM4 and the QBZ. AK-47 has a high literally damage profile and is pretty damn good. So pretty much all these guns are very viable. The Kilo and GRA are Modern Warfare ones. And let's see now, let's just dive into something like the TTK DPS. So we are looking at basically headshots to begin with. 250, so 3 plates, full target health. So as we can see here, we've got it all nicely lined up. AK-47, C58 in the lovely pink colour, EM2 is the blue, the Farah in the green, the QBZ in that light dark blue, and the XM4 in the pink, and then the brown is the Kilo, and the dark green one would say is the Gra. These are all the attachments that we have, all of the best attachments that we're using. So if we're looking at this straight away, we can see that the AK-47 and the Kilo are pretty much down on par, all the way up to just under 40 meters, pretty much on this point. Then there's a big drop off in terms of just headshots for the AK-47. Then it drops out and then becomes mid range. The Kilo itself is pretty good up to around about the just under the 50, so 47 mark, and then it massively drops out for headshots. Across the board, the XM4 is pretty much a straight line. EM2 pretty much a straight line. So if you get those headshots, these guns are pretty good. So that across the board range for, and we're going to be using these in long range distances. In the 20 meters, we're pretty much going to be using our SMGs. So we're not worried about that initial point of call. However, let's dive in and check out the neck shots. So neck shots here, we can see the XM4 is clearly out and out, pretty much. So for anything neck and head with the XM4 is a creaming machine. Also the AK-47 is pretty good, and the EM2 is really good as well. And the CB58 is pretty much just underneath on par, but as you can see, the Kilo is far out there, so it doesn't really have any neck shot multiplier, so not that great. So now if we go down to the chest, Kilo's kind of in the mix in the middle, as we can see here, with the AK-47 once again reigning supreme up to just under that 40 mark. So if you're hitting those chest shots, the AK-40 is just going to shred, and if you get a headshot in the mix, it is going to have a incredible good TTK. Also here, the Kilo is up to the 45 mark, pretty not too bad, and the QBZ is better than that, and it's up to pretty about 46 meters and 48 for the brown for the Kilo. And then it massively drops off. As you can see, there's a massive drop off on the Kilo, also on the Grau, whereas the other guns tend to pretty much all bundle together in the same mark. So the EM2, the Farah, the XM4, as well as the QBZ, all pretty much on par, all the way out to over 100 meters for chest shots. So then we then go down to stomach. So stomach wise, we have once again our favourite AK-47. Definitely this is showing as one of the top tier guns, and probably one of the best guns to be using in Warzone as merit, and probably meta as for the assault rifles. The Kilo is pretty much down again, but once again at that 48 mark it's dropping off. So for anything long range, this gun is gonna be dog taller. The EM2 is fantastic. The AK-47 is pretty much there for those stomach shots. And then you've pretty much got the XM4 in the mix, which is pretty good. And even here, the QBZ is dropping out of the range on this for stomach. Then we pop down to extremities, so the hands and the legs. So for this, the AK-47, which once again is reigning supreme, with the Kilos up there as well, but then has that drop off on this for 48. So 48 meters is pretty going to be dog taller compared to all the other guns, which is definitely going to be, as once again we have the EM2, the AK-47, and then we've got the XM4 in the mix, as well as the Farah and the C58. So that's pretty damn good. And if you look at the base stats comparisons, we can see, like, for the AK-47, headshot 54, 43 neck, 36 chest, stomach, 36 CB58, 58 compared to the 54 on the AK-47. And then if we look at the EM2, we can see it's insane. Headshot 61, 49 for neck. This is the biggest. The EM2 has the biggest damage profile of all of the assault rifles, with the C58 in second place, AK-47 in third. And as we can drop down here, we can see QBZ is slightly under the stats of the XM4, with the Kilo pretty much and the Gra on par in terms of stats and damage profiles, but clearly not as good as any of the other guns here. So guys, if we bear that all in mind, take it all into account, has the Kilo made a comeback? No, it ain't. It ain't made a comeback. It might be good in those close range engagements up to maybe 40 meters, and does pip some of the other assault rifles, but we're not going to be using it in those short range engagements. We're going to be doing it for longer range. So for that reason, is it one of the best top tier guns currently in Warzone before Season 6 drops? No siree. Sadly, Rocky B, this gun ain't gonna make it. You gotta pick another one. If you want to run about skill levels, QBZ. QBZ, number one. Easy to use, super easy to use. Then we go with the Farah. Slightly harder, little bit better, not too bad. Then we got the XM4. Great damage profile, great head and neck shot multipliers. This gun can fry in the right hands. And then we have the CB58. This is a high skill gun, but very, very good. Slow rate of fire, but very good. EM2 powerhouse. This is for the pros. And the AK-47 sits somewhere in the mix if you can handle it. This is a great gun. So pretty much on par with the XM4. But guys, Kilo, no. Laters, over and out. Hope you all have a great weekend. See you guys in the Dansk.